Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 12th of February 2025. These are the stories that we will be highlighting during the course of the show. We'll begin with the visit of the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Pakistan. That will begin from later tonight, and it is a two-day visit. It is a visit that is going on in an official capacity on the invitation of our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. The President of Turkey will be accompanied by a high-level delegation, which will also be including senior officials and corporate leaders. The main aim is to bolster the cooperation between both the countries in different aspects, in different fields, whether it be economy, whether it be defense, or whether it be other avenues. This and more will be discussed in our first segment. Our second story, ladies and gentlemen, concerns the worsening situation as far as Gaza is concerned. We all know the statements that have emanated from Donald Trump in the last few days, and we have highlighted it in yesterday's show as well. We'll also be talking about more statements that have come up since then, and of course Netanyahu's statement that reaffirms what Donald Trump had said as far as the end of ceasefire is concerned if the hostages are not released by Hamas by Saturday noon. This and more will be discussed as part of our second segment. Then we will be talking about the International Day for Prevention of Violent Extremism as and when conducive to terrorism. This is being observed across the world, including in Pakistan today. The whole concept started in 2016 at the United Nations, and on this very day in 2016 it was decided to have this day. And since then, in its resolution 77/243, the General Assembly of the United Nations decided to declare the 12th of February as the International Day for the Prevention of Violent Extremism as and when conducive to terrorism. Finally, we'll be talking about Croatia. This is an interesting story. Croatia that has opened the world's first laughter museum that is dedicated to make people happy. I think in this day and age where we are stressed, whether by our professional lives or our environments or what is going on across the world, a step like this brings a very welcome change to people's lives. This will be our last story today. Let's begin with our first segment, and that concerns Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who is the Turkish president, and his visit with an entourage to Pakistan. He'll be arriving inshallah later tonight, and he's here for a period of 2 days on the invitation of our Prime Minister, Mr. Shehbaz Sharif. We've been joined by two guests to discuss more on that. Amer Sultan, a correspondent from TRT, joins us all the way from Turkey, and Farah, who's the foreign affairs expert, joins us online as well. Farah, thank you very much to have joined us. I can see you, I can't see Amer. But we'll begin with you, Farah. Recep Tayyip Erdogan comes on a two-day official visit to Pakistan. There's a high-level delegation coming with him, which includes ministers and senior officials and corporate leaders. How important do you feel is this visit in this day, in this time?
For hosting me on your show. When we speak about Turkey and Pakistan, so to me, it's like, two brotherly states meeting each other, and the heads of the two states, they are going to be together in Islamabad soon. So it's not a new phenomena, it's not a new development. We have been friends since Pakistan came into existence back in 1947. Turkey was one of those countries who appreciated Pakistan by all ways and means. And we have been engaged in economic, diplomatic, and even military domains as well. So on this trip of the President Erdogan, we are expecting to have further developments on all these domains, keeping in mind that both countries can offer a lot to each other. Let it be in the form of tariffs and in the form of economic developments, prosperity, cultural, social, even, those areas also needs to be part of the MOUs that's going to take place during the trip of the President Erdogan to Pakistan. Along with these, we are also expecting to have some strong military and defense ties. I'm not saying that we never had it before. We do had it even in the past as well.
Further be strengthened. These ties will further be strengthened. I think that's very important. There's a whole gamut of things that might happen and will happen as well, including MOUs and agreements that will be signed. Stay with us. Amer Sultan also joins us all the way from Turkey. First of all, Amer, it must be very cold with the snowfall that is going on as we speak. Nevertheless, the visit of the President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, to Pakistan is important, and of course, this follows his trip to Malaysia and Indonesia. How do you see this visit from a Turkish point of view?
Thank you, Omar. So first, like this snow and cold weather can't dampen like our Turkey and Pakistan warm relations. So, as you mentioned in your intro, like it is all about timing. This time is really important. And when we talk about the time, like Modi is visiting US and Erdogan is visiting Pakistan. So it is like allies aligning with one another. So that is the basic thing. And when we talk about the time, the second thing is Trump's Gaza plan is on the table. Gaza ceasefire is in limbo. Everybody is trying to get it because on Saturday, is the deadline. So that is also in limbo. And then war in Ukraine, that is also on the agenda. And then other thing is Syria. There is a new government in Syria, which is pretty much aligned with Turkey. So there is plenty to discuss on international level, and this is all about the time. So timing is really important, this visit. And this shows like Turkey's commitment, that how they are committed to Pakistan and how much important they give to Pakistan, because at this crucial time, Erdogan has decided to visit Pakistan, and it is at the end of Asia leg. He had a meeting with Malaysian leadership, and then he also had the meeting with the Indonesian leadership. So now finally he will discuss, and he is giving Pakistan the utmost importance in this crucial time.
All right, coming to you, Farah. During this visit, a lot is going to happen, as we discussed in the very beginning. But one of the important things is the co-chairing of the 7th session of the Pakistan-Turkey High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council, which is of course aimed at strengthening ties at different levels between both the countries. Not only does it provide direction for strengthening of these bilateral relations, but also there are multiple joint standing committees that cover trade, that cover investment, banking, finance, defense, energy, agriculture, IT, health and education. I can go on and on. Anyways, the last session happened in 2020 in Islamabad as well, on the 13th and 14th of February, and again we are back in February, and again we are back at another of this meeting. How do you view the role of this council and the collaboration in all these different spheres that I have just talked about, and what is the importance of this high-level strategic cooperation council in the current geostrategic and geopolitical scenario?
Omar, I will come to your question in a bit. I would like to continue where my colleague has just left. The timing of the visit is very important. Yes, it is indeed very important for the two very important leaders to meet at this point in time, where Middle East is going through a lot of turmoil, and where we can see there are wars taking place not only in the Middle East but in Ukraine as well, where we can see President Trump is also very rational in his policies towards Gaza at the moment as well. So in this environment, heated environment, I will call it, can we expect something from Turkey and Pakistan to stand against the world powerful country? I would really doubt that, because probably we can reunite, we can signal to the world that we are together as Muslim countries. But can we do something against them? Probably we need more time and more resources and capabilities to reach to that level where we can stand against the world powerful countries like the United States of America and its other allies as well. Now, coming over to your question, the role of this council, indeed, it is very important, and we have seen through the onskirts of this council, we have been in a position to have more and more stronger relationship with Turkey, and probably that's the reason that most of the like we can see further developments coming up in the relations between the two in terms of IT and AI. That is also very important for the two countries at the moment. But the existing ties needs to be taken to the next level. So that next level is all because of the of this council and its existence. Because of that, we are able to establish more and more closer ties with one another. And we are also expecting that there was going to be some detailed talks going on between the two countries on tariffs. Even if I'm in a conversation with some of my friends in Turkey, and I'm trying to bring it up to their attention that we need to not like in all by all means not like relaxing the visa conditions, but just for certain degrees or certain possibilities, if we can do something where we can bring more and more collaboration between the two countries, not only in the form of establishing the relationship between the two countries in terms of the Chamber of Commerce and like the business sectors and the corporate one, but also the academia as well. We do have certain, but we need to take it further. And they are very positive about it. And they are very keen on improving the bilateral relationship between the two countries. And I must say, even like whenever I visited Istanbul or Ankara or any part of Turkey, we have always been received with open arms. And I think that's the best thing that we have between the two countries, where culturally we are almost the same. Religiously, we share the same sentiments towards each other, and we are open towards accepting and embracing each other. So that's the very positive thing which we can bank on during President Erdogan visit to Pakistan, and from here we can take it further. And I'm very positive about this meeting as well, and I'm very positive about the bilateral MOUs that are going to take place between the two countries. So something positive is definitely going to come forward, but I can't see it when I look into international security dynamics, international relations. Will it have an impact on its relationship with other countries in the world? I don't see that happening at the moment until we reach to a position where Turkey back in time when it was the Ottoman Empire, it was very strong and it had a stronger impact. So by the time we reach to those positions, we can bring a change. But for bringing a change now, we need to work more harder. Together, we can do it. I'm very positive about it. But at the moment, we still are very far from that.
All right. Amer, coming to you, during the visit of the President of Turkey, both Pakistan and Turkey are expected to finalize agreements, MOUs in different spheres. Let's go towards the realm of economy. They are supposed to sign agreements regarding expansion of economic cooperation in trade and investment. There is a huge talk of boosting bilateral trade from 1 billion to 5 billion US dollars. That is something that was already talked about last year by our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif when the Foreign Minister of Turkey had come also to Pakistan. New MOUs are anticipated as far as trade liberalization is concerned, investment facilitation is concerned, and the removal of non-tariff barriers. How important are these sectors as far as trade between both countries are concerned?
Yeah, Omar, we discussed this earlier when Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif visited Turkey. So we discussed the same thing, that the main concern is that we have a historical ties which go back into the ages, but still, it doesn't translate into business cooperation because our trade volume with Turkey is 1 billion. And last time even we discussed that both the countries are willing, they are trying efforts, but this high-level strategic coastal cooperation is really important. And that's why we should talk about it, because now Turkey is giving a lot more importance to increasing business relations with Pakistan, because there is a huge business delegation which is going to Pakistan with Turkish president, and they will meet with Pakistani businessmen and other business communities. And now, Turkey is helping Pakistan in different ways. Like Pakistan was the first country to sign the naval vessels, and Turkey is providing them the state-of-the-art naval vessels. Now they are also providing them drone technology, and now Recep Tayyip Erdogan is gifting Turkey's first electric-made vehicle dogs. So that is also a leap forward, because Turkey also wants its share in electric vehicles, because now is the era of electric vehicles and that. But this all goes hand in hand. Like Pakistan and Turkey, they share common views on international issues. They can go along with in the business sphere as well. So once you are on the same page and on the international issues, then all these things can translate into like a business partnership, and you can do. So Turkey attaches utmost importance to Pakistan, and don't forget, Turkey is in, if you are talking about the world stage, so Turkey is pretty much on the worst stage, because they were the one who brokered the deal. They were very much brokered the deal with Gaza ceasefire. They were and then they were also part of the deal with Ukraine and Russia, and still in the Syria, they have a strong hold in Syria, and this government is pretty much backed by Turkey. And Erdogan is visiting Pakistan. Before Erdogan visit, he visited Saudi Arabia and in Qatar, and they have signed that they will build like re-infrastructure in Syria and Saudi Arabia and Qatar. They will provide the funding. So basically, when we talk about the international issues, it is about aligning with the like taking all your allies into confidence. So Pakistan and Turkey both are allies. Turkey attaches utmost importance to Pakistan. That's why he is visiting to discuss all the international issues, and they want to increase like people-to-people contact, like tourism. They want to increase tourism with Pakistan. They want to sign agreements, MOUs in tourism. They want to help Pakistan in tourism industry as well because Pakistan has like a lot of natural beauty and all the stuff. So Turkey wants to help Pakistan in tourism. Turkey wants to help in city, like as I mentioned, naval vessels and that kind of a stuff. So there is a plenty on the table, and there are high hopes here in like Turkey. If you talk to the people here, like most of the people think, oh, Pakistan is our friend. So if you just go to the common people and say Erdogan is Pakistan, so they say Pakistan, Turkey, Karde. So they will just say Pakistan and Turkey are good friends. So hopefully this time around, we will be like our government will be able to translate this friendship into economic, partnership.
Inshallah, inshallah. That is what the hope is as well. Farah, coming to you, both countries are also looking to expand their strategic economic framework, otherwise known as SEF. There is a 71-point SCF action plan that is already in place, and they want to further expand on that, which might include investment, which might include IT collaboration, investment in IT and infrastructure development. How important is this roadmap in your point of view when it comes to the strategic economic framework?
This is very important between the two countries, and I would say Pakistan has always been looking up to Turkey. The way it modernized itself after the war, Pakistan is trying to follow the same footprints, and it seeks further and further assistance and guidance from Turkey, the way they came up to this level. But at the moment, what I can see is, of course, there's a lot of what's called engagement going to take place between the two countries in terms of economic development and prosperity. And they are, from Turkey end as well, they are trying to come up with different strategies through which they can have more and more stronger ties, economic ties with each other. Pakistan is in, when we look at the two countries' dynamics, we both are matching in terms of its relationship as well, and even in terms of its security positions as well. We can see Turkey is also going through economic, like they are reviving a bit. Pakistan is also going through a lot of economic pressures and economic problems as well. So this is the right time for the two countries to do something through which they can work on all their weaker points. Let it be the economic front, let it be the cultural and the political dynamics. They can work together, and I am very certain about that if they are together they can come up with better plans, better strategies through which they can achieve better results. I would say that through this recent visit that we are expecting soon, we are very hopeful that there will be something concrete going on, because when there is a gesture of doing by both sides, things can happen in the right way. The only reason that I can see is probably that can lead towards problems between the two countries is the world security dynamics. Probably this is not in the best interest of other parties who are not very keen to see these two countries getting more closer towards each other. Though I can't say that this is the first time we are getting more closer towards each other. We have been friends, we have been brother
Friendship
throughout the
that is there to stay. That this is a friendship that is going to strengthen with time, and inshallah with this visit of Mr. Erdogan, this we are going to further solidify it through different avenues of cooperation. Amer, coming to you, last question but a very short one. Defense is another aspect of collaboration between the two countries when you look at the geostrategic or geopolitical situation across the world. How important is it, because there are also talks of furthering the defense collaboration between both countries?
This is high on the agenda because Pakistan is the only country like which has signed to buy the like Turkish-made vessels, and Turkey is providing them. And Turkey is also providing them with the drones, and not just the drones. They are helping them to transferring the technology as well. So definitely all this scenario, and when we talk about the time, and Farah has mentioned earlier that this is the time maybe for both the countries to get, the things done which are like delaying for so long. So definitely security is on high agenda, and everything is related to this and trade and economic and all the things. So we are hoping that this time there will be a new beginning, because now world needs a new beginning. Like in Gaza, we need to extend this ceasefire agreement, and there is a Gaza plan. Like there is war should be end in Ukraine, and so hopefully it will be done this time.
All right, let's hope for the best, and of course we are looking forward to this visit of the President of Turkey, Mr. Erdogan, along with his high-level delegation, and we look forward to many such avenues and strengthening of bonds in all of these avenues between both the countries. Thank you very much, Amer, to have joined us all the way from Turkey, and please stay warm under this weather that is currently, happening in our neighborhood country. Also, Farah, thank you very much to have joined us, to have talked to us about this very important topic. And of course, to highlight the different aspects of the collaboration, cooperation between Pakistan and Turkey. Thank you very much, Dr. Farah Nas, who have joined us as well. We have to go to a short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Our second segment concerns the Middle East, Gaza in particular, the statements by Donald Trump and the reaction that has come, and what is happening in the West Bank as we speak, whether it be Jenin or Tulkaram or other areas where people are being displaced, around 40,000 to date, and of course casualties are also happening as we speak. More than 48,000 officially, some say more than 61,000 because of those who've been buried under the rubble and now proclaimed dead. To highlight many of the different aspects of what is going on in Gaza vis-a-vis the US, Israel, and these latest statements, we've been joined by two guests. The first in the studios is Dr. Saira Nawaz Abbasi. She's an international relations expert, joins us right here. Thank you very much, Dr. Saira, to have joined us. And Dr. Farah Nas continues with us for this important segment as well. So, of course, Farah, glad to have you back after that break. Let's begin with you, Dr. Saira Nawaz. Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Ghait warns the World Government Summit in Dubai that if Trump presses ahead with his proclaimed plan of capturing Gaza, and we've seen the different statements regarding that, he wants to convert it into the Riviera of the Middle East. This will lead the Middle East into a new cycle of crises with a damaging effect on peace and stability. He said, and I quote, after resisting this for 100 years, we, the Arabs, are not about to capitulate in any way now because we have not suffered a political, military or cultural defeat. So why should we move in that direction? If the situation explodes militarily, once again, he says, all this ceasefire effort will be wasted. Will this resistance from Arab countries to this US plan continue? What's your take on that?
Thank you, Mr. Omar, for having me at your show. Definitely the verbal resistance will continue from the Arab states, but its effectiveness would depend upon its resolve, the geopolitical shifts, and external pressures from various other global actors other than the United States of America. Historically, if we analyze the role of the Arab League, they have been against any external solution that was provided by any other global actor, particularly the United States, which undermine the sovereignty of the Palestinian as a state. So I think this will continue, but just verbal or rhetoric opposition would not be sufficient to bring down the current status, emerged from the statements of the Trump administration. So I think the Arab states, particularly GCC, Arab League, OIC, they could play a very significant role because considering the ties with the external powers and the global actors, I think they have the diplomatic leverage as well as the economic leverage also. So I think they should push for negotiated settlement with the United States of America, with other global actors, and involving other global actors would bring more sufficient and tangible results, because if by any chance the Arab countries would divert or shift their inclination from the US, which has already started been doing that towards other states. I think United States, it would not only undermine the influence of the United States of America, but the credibility of the Trump statements also. So I think then there will be the reassessment by the Trump administration also.
That's an important question. Will there be a reassessment by the Trump administration? Because the way Trump is moving forward, it doesn't seem as if he's looking towards any
well,
reassessment.
like I said that when the Biden administration came into the power, they also announced a policy of disengagement, and they said that they will be more into the democratic values and human rights, and there was a frosty relations between the Saudi Arabia and the United States of America. But later on, after the Ukraine war, so this is the initial phase of the diplomacy, where I think Trump administration is more into the power show and showing his muscle to the world and to his own country. So I think there will be shifts.
All right. Let's see when these shifts happen and how they happen. The head of the oil-rich Gulf Cooperation Council, Jassim al-Budalawi Farah, also has called on Trump to remember the strong ties between the region and Washington. He said, and I quote, "There has to be give and take." He says his opinion in Arab world should say theirs. What he is saying won't be accepted by the Arab world. If things are getting clearer and clearer by the day that most of the Arab countries and organizations are not accepting the conditions laid down by Donald Trump, what's going to happen? Is there going to be a middle ground somewhere?
That's a very strong message that we have received from the leader of the Gulf countries. But what are we expecting from all of this? Will Trump revisit his statements that he has made towards Gaza? I'm afraid he won't. And because for them, it's more about releasing all the captives that are there with Hamas, the Israelis, and they want to release them by all means. They're pressurizing Hamas. They're pressurizing, even in that context, the world that those captives needs to be relieved as soon as possible. So then they can clean and clear their business with the Palestinians and the people of Gaza and Hamas as well. So it's a completely different kind of scenario that is developing at the moment, where we were expecting probably when President Trump was getting the seat, we were thinking that maybe he will lead towards the ceasefire. We were very happy when the ceasefire was taking place. But I think I was one of the few people who could see this ceasefire a temporary, change into the relations between Palestinians and Israelis at that point in time. So what now is going to happen is Trump is always very aggressive in his approach towards the world dynamics, and Trump kind of give a very huge and big signal, and then he kind of bring it down. But to what extent he will bring down this decision, I'm afraid they will do what they want to do. And for them, it's more about cleaning Gaza. It's more about cleaning that territory from the people, or those people they need to surrender in front of the Israeli troops. And then from there, they can pick it up and take and rebuild that territory the way they want to. Remember this, it's not about how they're going to build it up. They want to build it the way they want to build it up. So it's completely different strategies that we are looking into. Their approach is very, I would say, very aggressive. It's not something that's going to be acceptable not only to the people in the Middle East, but throughout the world as well. We are also hearing lots of comments of President Trump towards the UN as well, where it is kind of blaming and shaming the United Nations for not performing its due role as it's supposed to be played in Gaza and in this conflict. And they are also kind of providing some kind of hint that maybe the United Nations is also biased towards Gaza. So under this developing scenario, what you can expect from President Trump, what he will do for the people in Gaza, and for me, it's always like the life of Gazans. Is it really matter or a concern for the people in America at the moment who are taking these key decisions? I would say no.
Well, you would say no, but I don't know how the US is going to move forward as far as that is concerned. Dr. Saira Nawaz Abbasi, more than 30 independent United Nations human rights experts, because of course Dr. Farah talked about United Nations and how the US is saying that the UN is not doing. In fact, had the UN done the needful as per the United Nations resolutions, the Palestinians would have had their due right. The ceasefire would have been implemented a long time back, and it would not have taken such and so many months and so many deaths and destruction before this happened. Now, these human rights experts share a joint statement condemning these shocking threats by the US President Donald Trump to take over and to go on Gaza. They propose certain ways that Trump could respond if he is genuinely concerned for the welfare of the Palestinians, which includes lasting ceasefire, resuming funding to UNRWA, ending arms transfers, and compensating Palestinians from the damage that has resulted from US weapons and munitions that was supplied to Israel. Will that happen?
Well, he's very rightfully pointed out these things, and I think in your show I have been maintaining this position that there is a lot of hypocrisy of international actors, particularly United States of America. See, on the face of media and through his statements, he's trying to convey to the world that he's trying to make things good for the Palestinians, while on the other hand that is not the case, because he's trying to forcefully displace the people, which is the outright violation of international law, along with the violation of the Geneva the Article 49 of the Geneva Convention. And if you remember that ICJ's ruling also maintains that this is an occupied territory. So the very concept which was coined by or established by the United States of America and Great Britain during the Cold War period, that was the right of self-determination. So I think President Trump is violating the very own democratic and liberal values of the United States of America also, and the rule-based international system also. So these HR experts, I think these statements that have shown the concerns of of how this could escalate it into a very dangerous situation, in which not only he is trying to displace the people, of course, and it is not only the violation of international law, but I think President Trump is trying to set a very dangerous precedent for the rest of the global actors also in emerging international power distribution. So I think I don't know how to comment on this on the national television, but
how we don't
I used to use the term for the Trump administration and President Trump in my class discussions, that I don't know, I think he himself is not clear about. And if you closely see, there is ambiguity in his statements and policies also. Like on the first hand, he said that we will own Gaza, and then he said that no, the reconstruction and rebuilding will be done by the regional states, whereas the regional states have outrightly rejected.
Then he reiterates the fact that we are going to own. He says it again, that he's after meeting the Jordanian president, he says exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not possible legally. Politically, it's impossible, and even I think the United States itself lacked the political will, I mean, to reconstruct and own, and there would be the governance issues for the United States.
Because if you remember, Trump came on the slogan "America First."
Yeah.
If this is his slogan for which people voted for him,
yes,
then all of what he's doing is not America First. This is, this goes towards another direction, but nevertheless, it doesn't go towards the slogan that he portrayed himself and his party to be following. Dr. Farah, the French President Emmanuel Macron, while being interviewed by CNN, rejects Trump's plans for mass displacement in Gaza, calls for respect for Palestinians and their Arab neighbors. He says, I quote, "You cannot say to 2 million people, okay, now guess what? You will move." The right answer is not a real state. The real answer is not a real estate operation. This is a political operation. Here, how do you see these statements? Do these have any weightage in the current global geostrategic environment?
I think there is no second thought about that. Is this really a war? Is this really a conflict in which America is supporting Israel? This is more like a political war where stronger countries like Israel and the United States of America, they are setting precedents for the world that if we want to do something, we know how to do it. So they are setting examples for the rest of the world that you don't dare to stand against me. Otherwise, I'll make you a rebel state like they have done it to the people in Gaza. And you were beautifully providing a statement earlier with my colleague here that America first. So I won't say that they have made America greater or America first or the people of America, but they have definitely put America in a position where people will start talking about America the aggressor in the history books in times to come. So we have to see what the international community is referring to, what they are demanding of responsible countries who are in leading positions where America is the superpower of the world. So we are expecting some kind of decency, some kind of, lenient approach from the United States of America and its leader, President Trump, that they need to look into the world from a lens of the world superpower rather than a stronger ally of Israel. There is no harm in having stronger ties with Israel, but the thing is, it should not be at the cost of the affecting the life of the people in Gaza over there. They can have more diplomatic and more defense ties with each other. The world never mind that. But the world mind when it is affecting the life of any other person or any other state who has equally the rights to live their life the way other people are living. So this is a bit it's got confusing and contradictory to the statements that they are making and setting for other countries as well. And now, whether like the French president's statements will it have an impact? I would say yes. The impact we can see to certain extent that there is some ceasefire going on. There is some kind of elements of lingering on this war. Otherwise, they want to finish, get it done, dusted as soon as possible. So the slow down approach is all because of the world leadership who are coming forward and demanding the United States of America to not contribute to this war, because this war is going to be written in the history books in times to come with very blood kind of notes. So this is not going to be acceptable. But will it really happen? Will it lead towards stopping America supporting Israel? I seriously doubt that. I don't see it's going to have an impact because they have decided that through this war they're going to show their power to the world, where we can see there was a talk going on about that America is probably declining in power or is losing its economic stronghold or whatever. But through this war, they're telling the world we still exist as powerful country. Our allies are still with us, and we together can do whatever we want to, irrespective of the United Nations doing something in favor or against. We don't care about it. All what care is the pressure dynamic. The pressure
Farah,
tension.
we've seen the ICC statements, we've seen the ICJ statements, and we've seen how there's a complete disregard as far as that is concerned, specifically by Israel. Thank you very much, Dr. Farah Nas, to have joined us and to have discussed with us the situation in Gaza, and of course to have been with us throughout the show. Coming to you, Dr. Saira Nawaz Abbasi, Donald Trump, the US President, meets with the Jordanian King Abdullah. The Jordanian king, of course, the message that was given before the meeting was that he's going to pressurize Jordan and Egypt to, let the Palestinians move into Jordan and to move into Egypt. Now, if we remember, well, Jordan already has a very significant populace of Palestinians that is living there. But King Abdullah, after the talks, says on social media that he reiterates Jordan's steadfast position against the displacement of Palestinians in Gaza in the West Bank. This is the united Arab position. He says rebuilding Gaza without displacing the Palestinians and addressing the humanitarian situation will be the priority of all. But of course, there is a middle ground. He says to Donald Trump that he's going to bring in a couple of thousand children that are injured, and they will, the Jordanians will take care of that. But on which Trump said, oh, that's a really beautiful gesture. He didn't know that before the Jordanian monarch arrived at the White House. But what's very interesting is that, we talk of U-turns. Trump reiterates from his previous talk that he's going to halt the aid to Jordan and Egypt, if you remember well, just 2 days back. He says, I don't have to threaten that. I believe we are above that. Is Trump going to soften his stance vis-a-vis Jordan and Egypt if they don't accept the Palestinians?
I would like to touch some other aspect of the Trump statement. One is that he is using coercive diplomacy, like giving an strategy of compellence and taking a unilateral action. This would be a unilateral action.
True.
But I think the Trump has forgotten the fact that United States is no more a superpower and it is not in a position to take a unilateral action. Well, if they would take a unilateral action, you know, that would have very grave consequences. And before this, even the last administration of the Trump and the Biden and the Obama, they had adopted the policy of disengagement from the Middle Eastern region due to the chaotic, you know, nature of the affairs in the regional politics. So one thing, this is very colonial era approach at the first place. And a very unilateral and coercive approach, which I think at this time where there are other global actors who could assert more assertively into the global politics, I think the Trump administration should adopt more cautious approach.
But let's see whether this cautious approach is adopted or not.
Because he is not conventional leader, maybe that is why he's using this
maybe
coercion.
We'll see other such decisions being made, or maybe changes in decisions.
I'm sure. I think, like you're referring to this meeting. I think the Jordan leadership king.
I think the Jordanian monarch has also been very clear in his stance, and so are the Egyptians, because their foreign ministry has also taken out a statement that is quite clear as far as that is concerned. We're a bit short of time, Dr. Saira Nawaz Abbasi. Thank you very much to have joined us for this very important issue as far as the Middle East is concerned. Lots to come in the days as well, and we have lots of time to discuss other things as well. Last two stories very quickly. Firstly, the International Day for Prevention of Violent Extremism as and when conducive to terrorism is being observed across the world and in Pakistan. The purpose of this day is to raise awareness about the threats linked to violent extremism as and when they are conducive to terrorism, and to enhance international cooperation in this regard. This is an enforcement by the United Nations General Assembly under the resolution 77243 that was imposed as per their decision in 2016 on this very day. Lastly, Croatia has opened the world's first laughter museum dedicated to making people happy. That is what we all need across the world. Visitors to this Ha-Ha house in Zagreb, which is the Croatian capital, are given different kinds of treatment to change their mood and to make them happier. This is something that was a deliberate decision by the makers of this laughter museum to change people's attitude towards life by making them happier. I think this is a good step in the right direction. More countries need to follow suit. With that, we come to an end to today's newsroom. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow with news story segments that pertain to us here in Pakistan. Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.